No, hold it.
Actually, it's fine. If you could start it. Start it.
Okay.
Actually, let the camera see.
As the twilight's last gleaming, moon's broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Is this on?
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
All right.
And the home of the brave.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, America. My name is Joseph Givargis. I am with Good Jobs Nation, and we're here today live in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where low-wage federal contract workers who work at General Dynamics, workers who serve the American people, help them get health care through the Affordable Care Act program and through the Medicare programs. We're here in Hattiesburg where these workers are coming together to organize. They're coming together to fight poverty pay. They're holding a rally queue. I want to bring up a few of the workers right now to tell us a little bit about the rally queue. That is a rally and barbecue for those of you who may not speak Southern. Ms. Flemings, why don't you come on up? So, Anna, it is wonderful to see you. How are you?
I'm fine, and welcome to South Mississippi.
Thank you very much. It is an honor to be here and support you guys in struggle. So, Anna, tell me a little bit about why you guys are having a rally queue. I can see General Dynamics, the building that you work at, in the background, and you've set up, a podium. There's chairs, there's tables, and there's a barbecue station. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are hoping to accomplish today.
Okay, well, sir, the rally queue today is not just for us here in Hattiesburg, but for all workers of General Dynamics call centers. We are provide health care for the federal government, but the Hattiesburg site is the lowest paid. We want better wages, better living conditions, and better health care.
And Anna, let me ask you, how much do you make?
Right now we're at $10.35 an hour, but before, when I started 2 years ago, we were at $9.05 a month.
So your pay has got...
$9.05 an hour.
It's a little bit better. So just in a couple of years, right, your pay has gone up.
Not a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
In about a year, we went from $9.05 to $9.64 to $10.35. But we were told.
And tell me this: why do you think that happened?
Because we came together and tried to organize for better wages, collective bargaining, and better things for ourselves. And because of the support and getting informed by the CWA, that's what it was, and not an act of Congress.
And so, yeah, that's right. This company actually said they couldn't give you, right, it's a private company, and they said they couldn't give you guys a raise. And What did you guys do in response?
We came together and started to organize, not just for us, but for all workers at General Dynamics. And this is a federal contract. So with that being said, it costs the company nothing to give us better wages. And because of this rally queue, we are wanting to get better wages. That means we have better living conditions for ourselves, but we also will provide economic development to this city. So this is the largest call center, and we're the lowest paid. So it is hard when you are trying to raise a family and have to decide the bare necessities opposed to what you have. So we are an asset, and I mean we, all General Dynamics employees, we are an asset to this company, not a liability, and we should be treated that way. United we stand.
Right on. You just heard from Anna. She is a call center worker here at General Dynamics in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. She is one of the leaders in an organizing campaign that's not just here at the General Dynamics facility in Hattiesburg, but extends to General Dynamics call centers all around the United States. And what the sister talked about is these workers who some of you watching may have actually talked to on the phone. If you get your health care on the Affordable Care Marketplace, the exchange, you may call one of these folks. If you're on Medicare and you need assistance walking through your benefits, you may have talked to one of these workers. But they don't work for the United States government. They work for a private contractor, General Dynamics, that has received $19 billion in federal contracts, yet pays workers like Anna as little as $10.35. And that's why workers are here organizing. That's why workers are here organizing and coming together. And so Anna, tell me, how long have you worked here?
I've worked here for 2 years, and I am actually AB claims, so I do 2 lines of business, but I receive the same amount of pay as someone that's just coming in now. And I don't think that's right. I think we should be paid based on, you know, your experience and based on the lines of business you do. Because you have people that do multiple lines of business, but we get the same pay. And with that being said, my name is Anna Flemings. Again, I'm #1 in Hattiesburg, and I'm also #1 overall in GDIT.
So this is actually a fascinating, you told me about this last night. So how were you rated? You are the #1 employee, right? Overall. So tell me about that.
Yes, sir. I was for the past 3 weeks. I've been rated #1 in the whole General Dynamics in the Hattiesburg call center, and I was rated with my name on the board.
Wow. And what did you get as a reward? Did you get a certificate, a plaque?
My name on the board.
Your name was on the board, but no raise, no bonus?
No raise, no bonus, and I've been here for 2 years with perfect attendance, and I still have not received anything.
So let's, you know what, America? I think the #1 employee, and all employees at General Dynamics Information Technology deserve a raise, but they can start right now with Anna Flemings, right? So if you are watching on Facebook Live right now, you can stand in solidarity with these workers who serve the American people, who provide health care to you and your family. Even though they do important work for the government, they're being systematically cheated out of fair pay. They make less than the legal minimum wage on federal contracts. They have filed a national wage theft complaint. They have gotten General Dynamics to raise their wages just a little bit, but $10.35 ain't enough to survive. Is that right, sister?
That's correct. Fair wages, and we want them when? Now. Fair wages, and we want them when?
Now. That's right. And one of the ways that workers are trying to win fair wages is not just filing legal complaints, but it's also by organizing a union. Now I want to bring up Cherie, another worker who is organizing here in Hattiesburg. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thanks for asking. How you doing? Thanks for the support.
We are happy to stand in solidarity with you guys. So tell me a little bit about the work that you do every day.
Well, the work that I do, I'm a Tier 1. I've been here since October of 2017, and I work with the marketplace, and I help consumers every day who want to get health insurance. And to be honest with you, you have to have a compassion for what you do, because there are persons who call in who don't have insurance, haven't had insurance, but now they're able to get insurance. And I have to be up on it on a daily basis. We have scripting that we have to read every week. We are tested. So therefore, I can tell your mother, your father, a loved one who may want insurance exactly what they need to hear and how to get the insurance.
So this is a really important job to make sure that Americans get their health care. But tell me this, Cherie, how much do you make?
$10.35 an hour.
Right. So again, I want to emphasize, every day she wakes up, she is committed to serving the American people, making sure our grandfathers, grandmothers have health care, making sure, right, people who can't afford private insurance have health care. And she only makes $10.35. So tell me a little bit about that. How does that personally impact you? I mean, some people may say, you know what, Hattiesburg, it's in the South. Probably things aren't that expensive here. Can you survive on $10.35? Tell me about your, how is it like?
You know, that $10.35 an hour, it's a wage that's being paid, but me working for call centers for over 25 years, that's not nothing, because based on your merit and your accountability and your knowledge, you are given a raise every 90 days to a year. And when I first started in 2017, it was that I was being paid $9.64 an hour. That wasn't a lot either. So I know that there needed to be a change. Now, me as a worker, I shouldn't have to decipher if I should pay my car note or if I should pay my credit card bills. And you know, I still haven't ate yet. I haven't paid my light bills or anything like that. So we just want to be treated with respect, because after all, General Dynamics is a private sector, and then they're the third largest private sector. And being paid $10.35 an hour, that's not acceptable.
No, that's right. This is a huge company, General Dynamics. Over half of its revenue comes from the United States government. That's our taxpayer dollars that are going to fund these poverty jobs. And as you heard Cherie talk about, a lot of workers have to make very tough decisions, right? Do I pay the rent? Do I put food in the fridge? Right? Some of the workers at this call center actually have to use public assistance to meet their basic needs. They help Americans get health care, but they make so little.
Right.
That's right.
Like I said before, and I reiterate, we are the front line. And we do help persons get that affordable insurance. And like I said, you have to have a compassion for what you do. You have to be there on a daily basis.
Well, and so let me ask you this. If the CEO of General Dynamics is watching right now, and by the way, she made $21 million every year. That's what she makes, 21. What would you say to her?
I would say to you, could you actually live off of $10.35 an hour with a family of four dependents, plus yourself and your husband? No, you couldn't.
So that's a question for the CEO of General Dynamics. Could you survive on $10.35? Right now, we're about to begin our panel presentation. You're going to hear from workers. You're going to hear from academics about the impact of poverty wages on the Hattiesburg community. You're going to hear from the Communication Workers of America, and you're going to hear from elected officials. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We want our rights. We deserve our proper pay. We deserve to be heard, and we need all of our people to step up, stand together, and to really form a union.
I know that it's hard to find a job, yes, but you were looking for a job when you found General Dynamics, and they have made you feel like this is the only job that you can get, or that if we decide to go union, that we're going to lose our jobs. Don't believe everything that you're hearing from them. Do the research for yourself.
Because you'll have to remember when we first started about it, it's all about power, right? It's all about, instead of being one person here in Mississippi, the vow would be 1,200. It's so much more, right? Right? I mean, one person trying to talk to the company, you got no power. 1,200 people in Hattiesburg, a whole lot better. But just imagine, we actually had everybody organized, right? We all come together as one unit. Then, at this point, it would be 12,000 voices compared to one, right? So that's our ultimate goal.
They thought that these emails and all this verbiage and all these actions were gonna try to push us away, but you're actually showing us that y'all are scared because you know that it's something coming that is gonna be over you. And we clearly see y'all don't want that.
CWA is not going to be anything that we have to be scared of. It's only going to be something that will benefit us if we will work together and we put together our own selves. And that's what everybody has to remember, is that we have to do this work our own selves.
Got to stand on the corner with a sign out where they have to do that.
CWA, tens of thousands of call center workers have won higher pay, annual raises, and better working conditions. Thank you. And most importantly, we have dignity, respect, and a voice at the workplace. That is why I am so proud to stand up here today with the GDIT workers here today. I know that they are fighting for the exact same things that we are, especially the folks on the organizing committee who are leading the fight to form a union with CWA. Can I have the members of the organizing committee please raise your hands? Let me see your hands. We will be hearing from some of these committee members today. These leaders will tell you firsthand about the struggles they face to survive the GDIT's poverty wages. And we can together improve the pay for this call center. Let me ask, how many folks here have wore red on Mondays? Or signed petitions calling for better pay? Or write a postcard to Congress about the poor working conditions here at GDIT? Please raise your hands. That's amazing. We stand united and committed to fighting for justice together. We have the power to make real change. Today, we will also hear about how the work we are doing to improve jobs at this call center will not just benefit GDIT, but it will also benefit Hattiesburg. It will bring more money to our community, increase spending at a local business, and even create new jobs. Before I hear from the members of the organizing committee, I want to welcome Hattiesburg Councilwoman Deborah Delgado and State Representative Jeremy Anderson, and also Senator Juan Barnett. Thank you all for coming. At the end of this program, they will respond to what excuse me. At the end of this program, we will respond to what they've heard from the GDIT workers about their working conditions. Now, what I would like to do is introduce one of our leaders, Don Freeman.
Thanks for that, Mike. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Don Freeman, and I'm a Tier 1 Marketplace representative here at GDIT. I've been with GDIT for about 3 years now, but I still get paid the same as someone who walks in on day one. Before this, I used to work as a sales associate at Walmart, and right now I'm getting paid now about the same as when I was working there. Even though at GDIT, we help people make extremely important decisions. We're trying to get them health insurance, coverage that they need to survive. Let me ask you a question, everyone. Does it seem right to you that we get paid as little as $10.35 an hour for what we do? No. Every other week, I've got to decide between buying food or putting gas in my car. I have an elderly mother who lives on the coast. She's 77. She doesn't drive. She doesn't really have the means to. So I drive down on my days off to take her grocery shopping. Some weeks I have to decide as to whether or not, okay, do I eat or do I put gas in the car to take my mom shopping? I feel that I shouldn't have to make that kind of decision. And I know full well that I'm not the only person here who thinks this. Almost every single one of us here has or has had a similar story to share. I knew that something was up with GDIT. It didn't make sense to me that a huge corporation like this, a military contractor no less, getting billions of dollars in government contracts, could be paying us poverty-level wages. Just seems preposterous to me. That's when I learned from a coworker who was organizing to form a union with the CWA, about how GDIT was getting away with paying poverty-level wages. And this isn't the first time they've done something like this. As a federal contractor, GDIT is covered by the Service Contract Act. And I'm going to share with you a couple of points about that act, because knowledge is indeed power. Firstly, the Service Contract Act sets the wages for federally contracted service workers such as ourselves. These wages are based upon the work that we perform and the location that it's performed in. Some of my coworkers have probably heard something along the lines like, if we're located in Lamar County, we'd be paid more. That's what this is referring to. But GDIT underpays us by claiming that we have little to no knowledge or skill, despite weeks of training and complex scripting that we have to interpret on the fly while dealing with difficult emotional situations that our consumers face day to day. This is called misclassification, and it's wage theft, plain and simple. Secondly, if we're able to form a union and negotiate for higher pay and better benefits, it won't even come out of their pockets. I'll say that again. It will literally not cost GDIT a single dime to pay us a proper wage. Yeah. Under the Service Contract Act, the higher pay that we would negotiate as a union gets budgeted by the government. So GDIT would be paid by the government to pay us properly. Their bottom line wouldn't be affected. If anything, it might increase. So that's why we're here today, to demand reclassification and a union. With both of these things, we get the pay that we would actually deserve and be better able to take care of our families. Now, a lot of us here are single parents. I grew up in a single parent household, so I know firsthand how difficult that is. There's money just waiting to be put in our paychecks as we speak. Money that would mean that we wouldn't have to go without meals sometimes. Money that would make sure that our bills never get turned off. Money that would mean that we wouldn't have to worry if we can make rent or not this month. Money that we would spend here in the city of Hattiesburg to buy groceries and close our local businesses. And beyond that. But how has GDIT reacted to a simple request such as this? By trying to stand in the way of a better future for our families and our community. By lying to us, bold-faced, and telling us that it would take an act of Congress to increase our pay. By keeping us in poverty when it wouldn't even cost them a single penny. Now, we know that GDIT is currently on its way out, and a company named Maximus will be our new employer effective mid-November. It doesn't matter. We're here today to call on Maximus, or whoever decides to take the reins of this, to respect our voices, to respect the work that we do, and to not stand in the way of a better future for our families. we're also here to ask our fellow community members for our support, because as a major employer here in Hattiesburg, what GDIT pays us, or what Maximus pays us, impacts all of us. When we thrive, the city thrives. When the city thrives, the state thrives, and so on. We're also asking Congress to ensure that both GDIT and Maximus are held accountable for any wage theft at all of its CMS call centers. There are GDIT workers in the crowd with clipboards who have a letter to Congress that we're asking everyone to sign. All GDIT workers as well as fellow community members.
Yes.
So if you would please take the time, please sign that and show your support. When we speak with one voice, we all have power. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Before hearing from our next speaker, I would like to recognize some special guests here with us today. First, I'd like to recognize Congressman Ronnie Shows. Next, I'd also like to say, y'all heard David Berry earlier, so I'd also like to say thank you for him coming today. Thank you. All right, so thank you for being here to listen to the experiences of GDIT call center workers and what they are doing to improve their working conditions. With support from our community leaders like you, we can build a better future for the working families of Hattiesburg. Now I would like to introduce to our next speaker, who is currently the #1 ranked call center agent, all of GDIT, Miss Anna Flemings.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anna Flemings, and I am also a organizer, member, and a colleague of the GDIT. I am been with the company 2 years, and I've experienced some things in my life since I've been working here. I have been trained in more than one line of business as some of my other colleagues, and we all make the same amount of money, which is $10.35 an hour. Now here at $10.35 an hour, I can look around and see a lot of my colleagues have children, just as myself. And on 1035, we have to make a decision to get the bare necessities, and that means food, shelter, and clothing for our children. I started out in 2016 making $9.05 an hour. Before we started talking about unionizing, we were told that it would take an act of Congress to get us a raise, but within a year we went from 905 to 964, and since we put pressure, we're now at 1035. But 1035 is still not enough. Now, me personally, and I know most of my colleagues, rent and other things in this area is anywhere from $500 to $600 to $700 a month. On 1035, and what we get, most of us do not, again, we do not qualify for public aid, that's Section 8 or food stamps, so we have to make decisions. And I am glad to see that I have colleagues that have your children around. So the children of the GDIT employees, would you please stand? I would like for everybody to look around and look at these kids, including my son. It's hard when you have to look at your child and tell them when they ask for something that we cannot do it because we cannot afford to get it. And that hurts not only us, but it hurts as a child. And we are working for a company that it will not cost anything. So that's one reason why we need to unionize and come together, not just for me, not just for Hattiesburg, but for all GDIT. And I do support and thank everybody for your support. And right now, we want better wages and we want them win. We want better wages and we want them win. And remember, every day that you come to work, we provide health care for the American people, and we have the worst health care in the world. We have to determine if we can go to the doctor, if we cannot. What is a $2,000 deductible? Most of us don't even have $2,000. So remember, when you go to vote, vote for people who care about people that are like me, single parents who are struggling, and GDIT co-workers. And again, look at all of my co-workers. It's not just about me, it's about all of us and all GDIT sites. So remember, we are going to unionize, unionize, unionize.
Thank you, Anna. All right. Before hearing from our next speaker, I would like to acknowledge the GDIT call center workers who have come here from Bogalusa, Louisiana. We are in this fight together, so I thank you for coming here and showing your support and solidarity. I also would like to thank the community members who came out to support better jobs here in Hattiesburg Call Center. Thank you guys very much. All right, so I would also like to acknowledge my brothers and sisters from Local 3509 who are here in solidarity with the GDIT Workers United. Thank you for coming and helping to support us. Thank you all. I also would like to thank the folks here from the Mississippi Democratic Women's Caucus for Forest County, Lamar County, and Jones County. Thank you, ladies. Your support will help lift the voices of the folks here, like our next speaker, Tracy Wolverton.
Good evening, everybody. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can really hear what I'm going to say, I need for you to clap twice. Now, my name is Tracy Wolverton, and I am a trainer here at General Dynamics. I'm not here to badmouth the company. But what I am here to do is to give you some information so that you can make an informed decision on what would better your life as well as everybody else that's involved. I've trained a good majority of the agents that come through here. And it's heartbreaking when they say, oh, you don't do anything, it's minimum work. That's not true. You know, sometimes as a single parent, you become a teacher, you become a lawyer, you become a doctor. On that phone call, some of you become counselors, you become clergy. You become the person that you need to be so that you can give the support that you need. So how can they fix their mouth to say we don't deserve more money? And the strange thing about this is this did not just start now. This has been going on since 2014. I can remember the day when I went into the break room and I looked at the paper and I was trying to determine why what I was classified as didn't make or didn't pay me what I was doing. Each time that I would go into HR, they would say, oh, it's nothing that can be done. We now know that is a lie. Yeah. And we have so many people here today that we depend on each other. See, I can speak for myself from the heart. I done had the lights turned off. I done had the water turned off. I done had the cars repoed. I know so many people who have been in the same situation that I've been, but it's because they don't want to pay us what's fair. Sometimes we even have to depend on each other, and I'm one of the ones that had to drive from Laurel, and I've also had to drive from Gulfport. It's not fair what they're doing to us. Now, we're working for the federal government. How can a person that works for the federal government live below poverty and struggle the way that we're struggling? That's not fair. I don't care how you put it. I don't care how you say it. It is not fair. And we got the people that are sitting at the top that are making all of this money. But guess what? We don't even realize, they don't even realize how important we are. The janitorial services, the security people, they couldn't even come in and do their job without us. So how can GDIT run if we don't have the people there to take the calls? We make y'all look good. And we need to start taking a stand on that. Now, I would like to see us get the pay that we deserve. It's life-changing. I have a daughter that works here. And I do whatever that I have to do to support my daughter so that my grandchild, and I'm looking around, if you're not a parent, you're a grandparent. No parent, no grandparent wants to see their child, let alone their grandchildren, struggling. I do what I need to do to make sure that my grandchildren have most of what they want, but everything that they need. Now, we're going to talk about Maximus. I want to kill this lie right quick. That's the company that's coming in to take over. It is not going to affect the lawsuit that we have on General Dynamics. It will not stop us from fighting. But guess what? Maximus has already said what they will or will not do. But guess what? We're going to take the fight on to them anyway. We need every bit of you to come in and help us. We can't do this by ourselves. Now, what does this mean? It means that we have to continue to organize. We've got to continue to come out and fight. And yeah, I know you're scared because I was. Well, what about my job? What about my job? If I don't say nothing, it ain't going to get no better. And all folks always told me a closed mouth don't never get fed. I'm ready to eat. I can't speak for y'all, but I'm ready to eat. So we have to keep pushing. Now, Don already explained the Service Contract Act. And anything that we negotiate for, it's not coming out of their pocket. They're not losing a penny. So the question is, why won't you give us what's fair? I asked one of the big people one time, could you raise your family on $9.05 an hour? Because that's what I was getting paid when I started. And guess what? I have 2 sets of twins with no assistance. Can you raise your family on $9.05 an hour? I don't think so. It's hard, especially when you're not getting anything in return. Higher pay? What does that mean? Y'all heard my 2 previous colleagues. Some days they have to make a decision on whether they're going to eat. Some days they're going to have to make decisions on whether I'm going to go to work. When you want people to come to work, pay them what they need. When you want people to stay at work, pay them what they need. When you want to keep people at work, pay them what they need. We have to be loud and clear to Maximus. I ain't going without a fight. Now, I got a couple people from my hometown of Laura, Mississippi that know me. I ain't never went down quiet. This mouth was always made to talk, and this is what I'm going to do. GDIT, take a good look at me. My family, my colleagues, I got everything that I need except for y'all on my side. They might not didn't hear us when we had one person speaking. They may not didn't even hear us when we had maybe 20, 30, maybe even 100. But you ain't going to make me believe if we got about 1,000 or 2,000. They're going to hear something going right. It's going to be a whole lot of shaking around here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Now, that's all I got to say right now. But you catch me later on. I got some more good news to tell you.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Next, we would hear from Patrick Dixon, a research analyst from Georgetown University. Patrick wrote the report that was released today, Strengthening Families in the Hattiesburg Economy. The report focuses on the impact of higher pay at the Hattiesburg Call Center on families in the community. Patrick?
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for inviting me to speak here today. I work for the Kalmanovitz Initiative for Labour and the Working Poor at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. We were founded in 2009 with the aim of being a resource that could link the expertise of the Academy with the on-the-ground actions of workers and their advocates. And our interest is in questions that pertain to both workers' movements and the future of work, and how workers' organizations, how workers' organizations can confront the civil rights questions of today. So we were really excited when we had the opportunity to work with customer service agents here in Hattiesburg, and we think this is a special case here. You have a wildly successful company. Then you combine that with the importance of public health care programs that are an essential feature of American life, which are licensed out to a private contractor. Nevertheless, make no mistake, whether it's GDIT or Maximus that may be signing the paychecks, you are doing the work of the United States government here. In most places, government jobs are highly sought after. But if the government cannot set an example of how to treat employees, of how to respect them, of how to compensate them, as a place you can build a career, then who else can? If CMS cannot provide an affordable and comprehensive health insurance plan to those who are carrying out its business, then why should anyone else do so? Why should the private sector act differently? So what have we done here? You should have received one of these. We've looked at workers' salaries and their terms of employment, at the federal guidelines that regulate their positions, and we've interviewed many people here as well. But those numbers only tell half the story. So we prepared this report for your consideration. I know in Washington, D.C., people are really important, so they only like to read the first page, but if you have the time, I'd encourage you to spend half an hour and read our report. We found it's very clear that Mississippi did its part here. The state provided a generous $1 million grant, not a loan, a grant to help the company come and set up. Mississippi's provided a workforce for GDIT, but the promise and the reality of working for this Fortune 500 company haven't matched up. So many of the people I'm sat with here today have pursued a solution. You're aiming to form a union and to negotiate to improve rates of pay and to fix various ways in which you're feeling disrespected. And so we looked at what this would mean for the broader community. And what did we find? If your positions were reclassified under the government's own guidelines to reflect the complex responsibilities that you're required to manage each day, and you formed a union and were able to negotiate a 55-cent annual pay raise, then by 2022, this would result in a pay increase of 37% to $14.20 an hour for those currently making $10.35. For full-time employees, this annual increase in income would be almost $8,000. You can see it. We printed these out in large here. If the workforce stayed the same size as it is now, this would mean an additional $25 million into the Hattiesburg economy. But it wouldn't end there. Higher earnings at the call center would ripple throughout the region, benefiting towns and cities close by. You'd spend your increased pay locally on buying groceries, on clothes, on spending money on your children, on paying your rent, on getting a newer car. Because when you spend $1, it doesn't just disappear, it gets spent over and over again. Economists call this the multiplier effect. So we calculated that by adding $25 million to the Hattiesburg economy, you would create an additional $13 million in economic activity and nearly 200 new jobs by 2022 as that spending made its way throughout the economy.
That's right.
Thank you. And since the call center workforce is mostly made up of women and people of color, we also found that higher pay at the call center here would reduce gender and racial income disparities that exist within this region. And importantly, since the call center is such a large employee, it's likely that higher pay at GDIT would have the effect of lifting wages for other local employees at businesses in Hattiesburg. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
All right, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm nearly there. I'm nearly finished. Sorry. We look at a range of other things. They say it's cheap to live here. They say there's a low cost of living. We didn't find any evidence of that at all. Your colleagues here can testify that, but that's not new. We know this isn't new. Companies have located to the south for decades on the assumption that they could pay less and that no one would say anything about it. But now many of you are making that point. You're making that point very clearly. And when a company turns around and says, hey, here's free lunches for everyone, it means they're listening.
Yes.
One more thing. GDIT or Maximus, that's not what you say when you pick up the phone, is it? You say Medicare. That's because this is the business of the United States government. And if a job in the service of the elderly and the sick should not, that should mean more than this. No one here is asking for the rule books to be rewritten. The rules are all there already, as Don has described. Job classification, the right to organise, collective bargaining. They probably still think they can get away with this, but your gathering here today sends a clear message that they can't. Thank you.
Now I can say thank you, Patrick. Sorry about that. All right, before we go on, I would like to take the opportunity to thank the thousands of people watching online and the following live streams. GIT Workers United, AFL-CIO, People of Bernie, Credo Mobile, Now This Political, Netroots Nation, and Good Jobs Nations. Thank you all for listening and seeing. Thank you all very much. All right, now, before I go on, I know it's starting to get late, so I'd like to say we're going to go ahead and open up the kitchen so y'all can start getting something to eat. We have a lot of people that want to eat here, so we'll let y'all go ahead and start on some of that, but we're not done. We are going to open up the booth, though. Okay. All right, now, we've heard from workers about the struggles they face making poverty wages and about the organizing they are doing to improve pay and benefits. We've also heard from Patrick about his research that shows that better pay at the call center will benefit Hattiesburg by bringing more money to our communities. Now we'd like to hear from some of our special guests. First one, City Councilwoman Deborah Delgado. I'm going to speak real quick. Just stay right here. Stay right here. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? So glad that you came out. I know that this parking lot should be packed. There should be more people. So I want you to encourage your friends and family members who work at GDIT to get involved. It is a shame that people work full-time and still live in poverty and struggle for the basic needs for their families. It's a shame. It's a shame. I am so grateful for these brave individuals who spoke earlier, sharing their stories with us, because we need to hear from the people who are directly impacted by what we do here. Most of you who know me know that my constant battle with the city of Hattiesburg is that we pay poverty wages. We pay poverty wages to the people who keep this city beautiful. And I want the city of Hattiesburg to be on notice that we need to organize our city employees so that we improve the quality of life of the people who live here. If people in the city of Hattiesburg, if people who work at GDIT make a living wage, they're going to spend more money in our city. Our economy will benefit from higher wages paid to people who work hard every day and who are beat down saying that they're lazy and want the government to take care of them. Look, the government is taking care of GDIT big time. Big time. They are a $1 billion government contractor. Corporate welfare, people. Corporate welfare. Let me tell you, do you know the state of Mississippi gave GDIT $1 million to come here? $1 million. $1 million. And they also get a tax break from Forest County. I'm telling you, it is a shame that they paid the hard-working people who work for them poverty wages. We've got to make a change. We've got to encourage organization. And I really do thank you all for being brave enough to step forward and organize. Continue to organize. I would like to make sure that we reach out to people that we know who are not here today, because they need to be here, particularly people who work for this company and who are afraid to be connected with a labor union. It's going to improve the quality of their lives for them to be involved in this movement. Let me tell you, one of the things that really gets me as an elected official is that people who go out and attract employers to come to our communities, tell them, well, if you come down to Mississippi, if you come down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, you're not going to have to pay much. You know, you're not going to have to pay a decent wage to the hardworking people who live in our communities. That's why Mississippi is at the bottom of every list. Every list. We cannot continue to allow that. GDIT workers, organize. Continue this movement. I'm going to be with you 100%.
Thank you, Councilwoman Delgado. And now, I would like to introduce State Representative Jeremy Anderson.
Good evening. As Mike said, I'm Jeremy Anderson. I'm excited to be here with you this evening. I want each and every one of you to understand that you know your worth. Say it with me, I know my worth. That is exactly what you need to let these folks over here know, that you will not sit and settle for anything less than what you're worth. Too oftentimes we find ourselves in situations like the young lady over here who spoke about being a single mom raising twins. I myself am a twin, and my mom is a single mom. And she told me that same thing. You may not have everything that you want, but you're going to have everything that you need. And that is exactly what families throughout not only Hattiesburg, but throughout the state of Mississippi are going through each and every day. In Mississippi, let me just run some numbers by you. For one adult, the living wage is $21.29. We've got people in Mississippi making $7.25. We've got people making $10. There is no way that a family, a single mom, can provide for herself and 2 kids. And at no point should a person working 40 hours a week, full time, look their kid in the face and say, I can't provide for you. At no point should someone in the state of Mississippi working full-time be struggling to provide the basic necessities like health care, like putting food on the table, like providing activities for their kids. Enough is enough. Say it with me. Enough is enough. It's time out for allowing people to take advantage of you. You hold your own destiny in your hands, and that is why I'm excited to see on your shirts, organize. So let's organize, let's mobilize, and let's create change. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. All right, now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Senator Juan Barnett.
Thank you, Mike, and thank all of you all for coming out. The only thing about coming last, because I came behind some great individuals today. From the workers to Ms. Delgado and to Mr. Anderson, there's very little for me to have to say. But when I listen to the workers and this young man who has to decide whether he wants to buy groceries or have just enough money to drive 40 minutes to see his mother, to carry her to go and buy groceries, this is unbelievable. That's right. That's right. You know, if those people, if we can work to make sure that they can take care of their families, then they should make sure that you should be allowed to take care of your family. We're not asking them for something that they can't do. We're not asking them to pay us any better than what they are paid. We're not asking them to pay us like we're CEOs. We just want you to pay us, like Mr. Anderson said, for what you all are worth. And as your state senator, I just want you all to know that as the vice president for this local itself that's helping to get out and organize you all, it was a privilege of mine. I felt honored to be able to stand not with you all today, not with you all tomorrow, but as long as it takes to make sure that those people who are employing you do right by you, I will forever be standing there with you all. And as Ms. Delgado said, this parking lot should be full of not just GDIT workers, but your neighbors, your cousins, your uncles, all of them. Other state officials need to be here as well. Because if we can do this, it not only makes Hattiesburg good, but there's people that drive from Laurel, Mississippi, Waynesboro, Heidelberg, the Gulf Coast. It's gonna help the whole state of Mississippi. So even though there may be few of you all here today, don't let that discourage you in any kind of way. And I'm going to have my seat, but before I go, I would like to recognize Ms. Brenda Scott, who is here with the State Workers Union, and the City of Jackson. Also, we have Mr. Nick Brown here as a council member from Hattiesburg. So Hattiesburg, you should feel good today, knowing that 3 of your elected officials are here fighting with you. We're not standing behind the scenes, but we are here today to stand and fight with you all. And as well, good friend of mine, Mr. Mike Essing, sends his regards as well. He wanted to be here with you all today, but his schedule wouldn't allow him to be here. So we just want y'all to know that we are here for you. And today is not the end of the story. Thank you all.
Thank you, Juan. I appreciate it. It's inspiring to see many Hattiesburg call center workers out here today. By continuing to come together, to stand together, and to fight together, including with our elected community allies, we can fight for a better working condition that call center workers deserve and that the Hattiesburg community needs.
What is the prize?
What is the prize?
Unionize. What is the prize?
Unionize.
What is the prize?
Unionize.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.